Hello, John. It's good to see you. I see Lee Tusi is on as well. Um,
Lee, are you on here? Lee Tusi. Guess not.
Okay, everybody, we are live, so watch what you say.
that sounds good. So I guess I'd like to wait another minute or two before we start officially because I expect Carolyn and to be on. Sally Snyder is supposed to call in, so I expect her to call in. Stuart is out of town. And Harold is going to be about 10 minutes late, but he will join our call or our meeting.
Well, while we're waiting, hold on, give me a second. There. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Fancy.
Ta-da!
Hello.
Very good. Lee,
Yeah, this is Lee.
this is John. Did you receive the email I sent out about an hour ago forwarding the response from the Hunting Green guy?
I saw the one from Hunting Green. Yes,
Good.
thought that was pretty good.
I don't have anything yet from the Breakers.
Oh, okay. But thanks for contacting them. That's great.
Hello.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, Carolyn.
It's good to see you.
You too.
Hey,
I think we should go ahead and call the meeting to order. I'm expecting Sally Snyder to call in, and I'm expecting Harold to join us after he's safely picked up his daughter. And I assume gotten her back home again. So, and I see David Holmes is on as well, so that's good. Okay, so the first order of business is the approval of the September 10th meeting minutes, which were sent out in advance. Does anyone have any corrections or additions?
They looked good to me.
Okay, I think Sally is on. Is that right, Sally?
Yep, I'm on.
Good. Okay. Hearing no changes to the minutes, we will consider them approved as written. The next item of business is the parks update. And first of all, I'd like to introduce Lee Tusi, who is on our call. Lee, as you probably know, is the chair of the Forestation Board. And he and I and Ron and a couple of other people met this morning to talk about adding some trees in Harris Creek Park. So Lee, why don't you describe what was talked about this morning and give people an update.
We have, yes, we have funds available from Forestation Board to plant 4 trees, and based on the meeting we had this morning, which included Ron and our consulting arborist, Andrew Hanlon, it seems feasible to plant 4 swamp oaks along the concrete pathway that leads both to the canoe launch and the Orange Trail. The swamp oaks are recommended because that area could be flooded sometimes. although most of those trees would be up where it's unlikely water would reach. Andrea's checking on the pricing for the oaks, but I think we have enough money, and they would be put in late November by a contractor crew, which is included in the estimated total tree cost. We also looked this morning at Sycamore, which is located fairly close to the new picnic benches that the Scouts put in, which is near the park area. There's at least one large limb that is hanging towards the benches and might be in serious decline where it could break off. Andrew said, let's just wait till spring and see what other branches leaf out. It may be that either we take a few branches down, which we've done under Ron's maintenance crew and him calling in an outside contractor, or we'd have to take the whole tree down, but it's difficult to tell at the moment. That concludes our activity this morning.
The other thing that I would mention is that Andrea, the arborist, consulting arborist, also said that the swamp oak is a great choice for that area because it's both drought resistant and also flood resistant. We do have some other swamp oaks that are have been planted along the Orange Trail, and they've done quite well. Sometimes underwater and sometimes very dry. So I think that's a good choice, and we'll wait for Andrea to determine the pricing and whether we can put 3 or 4 trees in there.
Yes.
And I guess they get quite large. Do you remember how large she said they grow to?
I don't.
Okay. But they should provide some shade in that area when they get larger, which will take quite a bit of time. Ron, did you have anything else you wanted to add about the tree planting? Or anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Sorry, I was looking up swamp oak to see how tall they got.
Oh, okay. You can chime in when you find that information. The next item on the agenda is about the trail repair and outstanding projects. And to my mind, we have 3. We might want to come back to one of them when Harold is able to join the call, because he was going to look at one of those issues. We have the dangerous tree along the Green Trail that Rod's working to get a contractor to give us a price on. I don't think that's happened yet.
No, me and
Okay.
Grayson are supposed to hook up sometime next week.
Okay. That's, as you recall, is just a tree that's too dangerous for our maintenance crew to handle. We need someone that really knows what they're doing, or someone's going to get hurt. The other one project is again along the Green Trail, where there's a stream crossing where the trail has been washed out, and Harold was going to take a look at that and figure out if he thought he might be able to help with that situation. Also, Stuart has taken a look at that as well. That's going to require some muscle to rebuild that trail and probably take some gravel to stabilize it. So that's kind of a long-term project, but it's not something we can do with just a couple of offhand volunteers like me that aren't real strong and maybe are too old. So we do need to look at that. The trail is usable and people are using it. In fact, trail runners are using it as well as the casual walkers, but I do think that's an area we need to try to improve at some point. And then the third project should be an easy one. I think we just need to choose a date and get some volunteers. This would be the the gravel path from the Putney Lane parking circle to the Woodland trailhead. And we've talked about this a couple of months and none of us has done anything to make it happen, but maybe we could just kind of choose a date. This will involve moving the gravel, taking up the landscape cloth, putting the gravel back down, maybe adding some gravel to it. So I don't know if anyone has any thoughts. We could try to do a weekday or a weekend. And I think if we had, I don't know, 3 or 4 people, we could probably get that done in just a couple of hours. So I don't know if anyone's got any thoughts. If we want to do a weekend.
I've been meaning to go take a look. I'm also thinking we might be able to do is we can cut the fabric where it's a problem and just simply pull the fabric back out in small sections. And that might make it easier and break it out. But I need to go by and take a look at that. And I apologize. I've not had time to do that, but I'll put it on my list of things to do
Okay.
and see if we can see if I can get something going on that.
I'm certainly willing to help with that project because you don't have to walk very far from the parking area and it's flat and you know it's just not that difficult to do. So I think we could get a couple of volunteers if we just choose a date to do that. So, and I see Harold, I believe, has joined our call, so that's good.
Yeah, Jeff and Charlotte would probably be able to help me.
Well, maybe
If we picked a date when Jeff was in town, you could get a free volunteer with him and me.
Okay.
I'd have to see when he's in town.
Well, why don't you take a look and maybe propose some dates that would work for you, and if Lynn and I can also be available, that should be enough.
Okay. Yeah. Were you thinking soon, Linda, or were you thinking, you know what I mean? Or were you thinking, you know, like next week or the week after that, or like further down the road?
It doesn't matter to me, actually.
Okay.
I'd like to get it done this fall, but I don't think it matters. I mean, the path is usable as is, even if it's not very aesthetically pleasing. And
What's your schedule a week from tomorrow just to go look at it? Would you be good at 9 in the morning, say, what is that, the 30th? No.
A week from tomorrow's the 22nd.
22nd. Would that work?
Wait, a week from tomorrow is the 23rd, right?
No, 22nd.
15th. That's right. Today's the 15th. Would you be available at about 9? And that's just for a look-see.
I'm available.
I will meet you there. I'll be there at 9 o'clock a week from tomorrow. And then we can size it up from there.
Okay.
And
I
then
can help
Jeff's
out
in
too.
town. Yeah, Jeff's in town the 27th through the 30th. If it turns out that when you guys look at it, you know, you're ready to go do something.
Good.
Great. That sounds good. Harold, welcome. We were just mentioning, the spot on the green trail that needs the trail rebuilt by that stream crossing in Harrods Creek Park. I know last time you were saying that maybe you'd take a look at it the next time you were in the park, and I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it.
I've gone there probably 6 times. We talked about a stream through there. I never saw any stream or anything.
Well, it's a stream when there's a rain event, but it's usually dry. It's usually dry.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not available that next week on that day to go at 9 a.m. I'm working at the fire station, but I can some other time or help adjust it.
Super.
Okay. I'd like to give a little update on the project to look at what our options are for Putney Pond. I think we mentioned this in our last meeting. Since our last meeting, Ron and Sarah and I have met with a couple of people. The first was the executive director of the Kentucky Waterways Alliance. And I think at the last meeting, I had told you that Ward made some suggestions of various agencies and people we might consult with, but he wanted to meet with us and take a look. He had a lot of good suggestions. The first thing he recommended is that we find out if the conservation easement that land is under would affect what options we might have. And so the next step was to meet with biologists from the Kentucky Heritage Land Conservation Fund. That's the organization that provided part of the money for us to purchase the property. I took a look at the conservation easement, and to my eyes, it appears that we have the ability to manage that property. The director of the Kentucky Heritage Land Conservation Fund sort of agrees with me, and the biologist did too. But she said that because it is under a conservation easement, if we wanted to do something to actively manage the pond, we would need to present that and get approval from the fund board. It appears, she said it's more of a formality than something that would stop any project we wanted to do. There were also some recommendations that they would be very interested in maybe having a new environmental or biological survey done. We had one done when we first purchased the property, but she said, and I think she's right, it's really important to know what kinds of wildlife are currently using the pond as it is, and also get a sense of if we were going to make changes, how would that impact the biological diversity and the plants and animals that would be using that area. And she made several recommendations. She actually said that perhaps we could use university students to do something like that. And I don't know, Ron and Sarah, do you have anything you want to chip in terms of what Ward mentioned to us or what Maddie from the Conservation Fund said?
I know Ward had, you had touched on, he talked about, there may be money, but both him and Maddie talked about, the availability of funds is pretty dire, although there used to be money for stuff like that. So maybe in the future it would come back. And then you mentioned Maddie's university thing. She told a story about when she was in college, and she's young, so it's not that long ago, but, she was saying they did an entire survey of an area. So harnessing that college student thing would be great. I think that's all I remember. Ron, do you?
No, that pretty much covered it, actually. The good thing is there's no money available right now, but we're not ready right now. So maybe by the time we get ready to roll on this, that maybe there'll be some grants and stuff available.
Yeah. And Maddie really did frame that in terms of like using those college students as almost doing like a study, potentially a free study before like a real study, so get an idea of what all's there before real money is put down to change anything. She had some good stuff to say.
I'm really curious to see the outcome of tomorrow's meeting with MSD, because that's going to be a major factor in deciding what and how we can do anything.
Yes, that was my next point, because I don't think the rest of the committee knows that we're actually meeting with MSD tomorrow. Everyone we've talked to has said, MSD may have a say in what's done. Tell me again, Ron, what do they call this? A clear through some kind of stream?
I know it's a blue line stream. So.
Okay, blue line stream. I don't really know what that means, but maybe you do.
It just means it's protected under MSD.
So. Okay, and it's part of the watershed. With the recommendation of Steve Emily, who was with MSD when the sewer project was done, Steve gave me the name of the right person at MSD to talk to. And his name is Tony Marconi. I reached out to him and he got back to me immediately, which is great. He and Ron and I and one of his staff are going to meet at the pond tomorrow afternoon and talk about it. What occurs to me is that right now that pond is sort of serving as a retention basin when there's heavy rain events. And if it ultimately silts in, that's going to go away. The water's going to keep flowing. So we'll see if he agrees with me. I'm thinking if it's to their interest that we keep it as a pond, maybe there's some money there too. I don't know.
Linda,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Linda,
Yes.
I'm kind of lost. It sounds like you're talking about Putney Pond,
Yes.
okay? And what's going on here?
Well, from my understanding, just from listening to the city council meetings, they've actually put some money into the budget to do a study for what options would be to
That
either
is-
maintain the pond or do something else.
That is correct.
And so before making any kind of recommendations for a study, it occurred to me that we should talk to some people about what options might be there and also what requirements might be in place through MSD or, MSD said they would be able to tell us what other agencies would have a say and what permits we might need to do something with that pond, especially if it's part of the watershed and the Army Corps might have an interest. I don't know. And that's what I'm hoping to find out. I likened it to kind of peeling an onion. We're kind of, okay, what do the biologists say? What is our restriction under the conservation easement? Does MSD have a say in this? And what kind of permits would we need if we really wanted to do something? Before we spend money on a study, I think we need to know what what might limit our options.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Certainly. So I won't, we'll find out tomorrow what MSD has to say and what their interest is and if they have any thoughts about what the best practices would be. So that's all I know. Right now, we're just continuing to research it. Does anyone else have any other park updates?
Actually, I do. Just got an email from Zach talking about the feasibility of doing a lake trail bash. I'll let you read through your email. He sent it to you too, Laura or Linda.
Oh, okay.
So I'll let you read through. He's got guidelines and stuff that they've been using. Actually, I think it's a bit late to plan it now, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes.
We can.
Linda?
Yeah.
I would say, and unless, in my opinion, that place that we've been talking about in the Green Trail, unless something gets fixed before then, I think it's too hazardous.
Especially if
One
we get
area.
rain.
Yeah.
I would be, well, I think it's totally whether there'd be permission given for the trail bash, I guess be up to the mayor. I think it's kind of difficult to plan something like this during this time, especially when COVID cases are continuing to rise in the county. But I guess we could see what he says, what he is requesting, and
Mayor, I just
I'm sorry, Ron.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought my mic was off. Mayor, I just sent you the copy of the email. So.
The other thing I wanted to talk about, I should have said this with Putney Pond. I sent everyone a copy of the site inspection that Maddie did. She's the biologist from the Kentucky Heritage Land Conservation Fund. And she did a site visit while she was here working with us. And she sent a report. So I just thought that would be of interest. Basically, they're very pleased with how we've been managing the property. They've also, she noted that there was an invasive, which I've noticed before too, by the, why am I blanking on the name? The entrance off
Fox Valley.
Fox Valley Drive, thank you, Ron. And that Pachysandra has been there forever, and it's not really spreading very fast. I guess we could go and pull it. I don't see, that's an invasive, but it doesn't seem to be moving very quickly.
Not
I'm sure it's
invading very
something that,
much.
I'm sorry?
They said it's apparently not invading very much.
Right. I think it's probably escaped from someone's landscape, or was dumped there with landscape waste over the years.
That's the more likely scenario.
Because a lot of people used to dump grass clippings and stuff there. So yeah, we can put it on the list, but I don't see it as a highly of high concern right now. But the other thing I did send out to you was a draft of a invasive plant removal schedule. And I put this together in conjunction with Jacqueline McGrail, who's been our sort of resident expert in invasive removal. So her recommendation is that in March and April, we continue to hand pull garlic mustard, and also small bush honeysuckle plants that we can just pull up by hand. Those are great events for families because we aren't using any herbicides. And I know that Harold and his daughters did a great job last spring pulling a lot of garlic mustard. This summer, Jacqueline and I, probably in the July-August timeframe, we cut down poison hemlock. They had already flowered and were setting seed, and that was just a tremendous job. So the better way would be before the flowering stalks appear to spray the rosette, the basal rosette, but you have to use some pretty strong herbicide to get that. The poison hemlock is along the Orange Trail, basically between the Orange Trail and the creek. And there was quite a bit up around the new launch as well, again, right along the creek bank. So if we could do that in May, that would be great. In July, she suggests the still grass, and then the next three on my list were Japanese chafflower, carpet grass, and Modri fountain grass. And those, I'm not sure if they need to be sprayed or pulled. The Modri fountain grass is beautiful. I was really hoping it was native. And you can find that along the, in the wildflower beds that we planted just at the very beginning of the Orange Trail right near the parking lot. So I need to do a little more research on that. September, October right now is when we should be working on the bush honeysuckle to cut and spray. And I guess my conundrum with this is that we really do need sort of a group of dedicated people to be willing to, every few months go and spend a few days on invasives. And at least for some of them, they have to be willing to use herbicides safely. So I guess I'd like you to think about this. I'd really like to think about ways we can recruit people and kind of have a plan going forward instead of every, in July when we've got this crazy poison hemlock problem, then, a couple of us spend 3 or 4 days in a row, 4 hours a day, trying to keep it under control. And it would be better if we had a little plan going forward. And I feel like if we started working on it now, we could have something in place for the next growing year. So I am open for suggestions if anyone would like to give suggestions now, or if you want to think about it and email me, or we can discuss it at our next meeting again.
Linda, I
while
just
we're-
wanted to ask a question, if I could, about the poison hemlock. Is that, I don't know much about that. Is that a terribly invasive plant? And if so, of course we would, want to remove it, but I do worry a little bit about using the herbicide so broadly with multiple types of plants, especially with Harrods Creek right there. It's kind of, as you say, there's a conundrum there that bothers me a little bit. So I just wanted to know if we'd thought through all of that.
The hemlock is indeed poison. It's a European plant and it is invasive. Every part of the plant is poisonous. I know Jacqueline's concerned this summer because it's a very beautiful plant and the flowering stalk is gorgeous.
Looks a lot like foxglove.
And, her concern was it might be tempting right along the orange trail, tempting for kids to grab it and do things. Supposedly it's not poisonous unless you eat it.
Yeah.
But I think it can cause a rash. What we did was we cut and bagged the flowering stalks. And because I guess it's either a perennial or a biennial. It may be that it does a rosette one year and the next year it sends up the flowering stalk. But that one definitely is one that we should control. I've just learned about some of these other grasses, so I'm a little less certain about what we need to do, and I think we do need to research those a little bit more. So, Ron, do you have any other thoughts?
The grass, is that the stuff we were looking at this morning that we were talking about? Yeah, I hate to lose that because it is so cool looking.
It's beautiful.
While we're on invasives, we did get back last week and started poisoning off 5 Tree of Heaven parent trees. They've been drilled and taped. I'm planning on going back once a week for the next 3 weeks and refilling the holes with concentrated Roundup. We'll see where that gets us.
Ron was mentioning this morning that when he did this at Putney Pond, it actually killed the little sapling shoots that had come up. And if it does that would be tremendous. But I don't know how soon we'd know that.
It's by spring. We'll know in the spring if they don't leak out and kill them.
Do you think we should still try to go and cut and paint those?
Yeah, I see no reason to wait on it, especially since this is the most comfortable time of the year to work on it. So.
And I know,
Ron, if you can let me know what day you want to go next week, I can, as long as I can get some advance notice, I'll put it on my calendar and help you out.
It will probably be the week after next because next week's a busy week for me. So I've got a newsletter and council meeting and all kinds of fun stuff.
So
okay. Well, I'll just send you an email.
Okay.
Good.
But basically, me and one of the other guys can go through with basically it's a weed eater with a metal blade on it. We'll go through and then somebody can come behind us and just spray the cuts. That's really the time-consuming part of it because you don't want to broadcast spray it. You want to go through and actually spot spray each little upstart. So
right.
We're not trying to kill everything in the area.
And if you come up with a date, I can send out an email to some of the people that helped us in the past. So if Ron, if you and Sally could come up with a date and a time, and I can try to recruit a couple of other people as well.
Okay, I'll start looking at the weather towards the end of next week to see what a good day would be.
Sounds good. Okay, anything else on Parks update? Okay, Lynn, you're on for the Scout update.
Okay. From all the emails, everyone knows we had an active August, September. A couple things drove. Scouting is allowing meetings again midsummer of about 10 folks or more, which is good numbers for Eagle Scout projects. And then also the first young ladies to join Scoutings that are eligible to earn the Eagle Awards joined back on February of 2019. Given the time requirements required in certain leadership positions, earning certain merit badges, the earliest date they could earn an Eagle would be October of 2020. So two of our young ladies are going to hit that, Amanda Dewey and Natalie Young. Amanda did the kiosk down there in the parking lot on Harrods Creek. Then across from that, Natalie came back a few weeks ago and did the picnic tables. Ron and Linda, if you've got to go take a look, the border, she ran out of wood because she didn't measure it quite correctly. We have some extra pieces, so there's going to be a line of border timbers put in on the back of the picnic tables and where the wooded area is. So right now you wouldn't notice. It looks fine the way it is.
Oh, it
Let's just
does.
go back and do a little more work on that to make it look a little more complete. Things the Scouting has done is a lot of these young ladies all wanted to be the first young lady to be Eagle Scout. And so what they have done to give everybody an equal chance at this, the anniversary date or birth date of Scouting falls on February 8th. So all young ladies who complete the requirements between October 1st and February 8th, they'll all be dated as February 8th, and they'll all be considered first class of young women to make Eagles. And so Troop 30 has got the first two in this council are out of Troop 30. We've got one more young lady, Juliet Cabral, who I talked to back in, first week or so of September. We were looking at her maybe doing something in Cali Park. I've got to follow back up with her. She's still got time to get this done and get it all completed by February, and she'll be part of the same class too. The third project we have done, as you've seen, is Nate Jackson went up and put border boards in place right on the corner, I guess, on the Orange Trail, Blue Trail, right where those merge. And he put a bunch of gravel back there, which they haul back there. So I was pleased. The projects all look good. They're all being used right away. Probably the first time in a while we've done projects right in really busy areas where almost instantly people are taking advantage of them. So that's all pretty good news from where I sit. And all good kids. Two of them are in college already. I'm not sure if Nate's a junior or not, but making a good contribution to the city of Prospect and to Scouting.
Every time I've been at Harrods Creek Park, there are people using those picnic tables. They are very, very popular. And thank you, Ron, for putting a trash can right there. I'm sure that.
Donata. Hey, I want to tell you, the guys were down there the other morning doing some work, and there were about 10 kids, and it looked like a kindergarten class. We're down there doing arts and crafts on the picnic tables.
Wow, good deal.
So, unfortunately, they didn't think to get a picture, but it's nice to know they're being well used. So,
good deal. Excellent.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So, thank you. Well, does anyone have other business to bring up?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention I have seen a couple of masks near the trailhead on Montero, and I'd like to think that those have been inadvertently left there, dropped by accident, but they've been there for several days, and I don't know how much of that you're seeing down, near the Orange Trail, but there are several there right now along the road or along the ground there by the trailhead.
which
on
trailhead?
Montero.
Montero.
Yeah.
I'll have the guys take a look.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'd like to believe they were inadvertently dropped, but we are finding so much PPE everywhere. People just throw them out their car windows, and people are disgusting, basically.
Yeah, really. Really.
Well, I went and walked the trails a couple of weeks ago and got to pick up a dirty diaper that someone had deposited.
Oh,
to the
yeah.
side.
Yeah, you want to
That
see
was
the
pretty
guys get happy. Yeah, bring that up.
Well, Caroline, you brought up, I think, in the last meeting about the line striper, like on Hunting Creek Drive.
Yes.
We did get the money in the budget, so it's up to Ron now, I guess.
Yep.
Purchasing one, I don't know if we have yet, but there's money there to buy paint and a paint, so we can keep up with it now ourselves.
Outstanding.
I think that's
I walk that out several times a week.
I see you
and
out there.
see-
I see you out there several times a week.
Yes, I am. And I see other walkers and cyclists and a woman with a baby stroller. And so I think, it is a safety concern. So kudos to the council and thanks for bringing that to the attention of the council members, Harold.
no problem. And Ron, you're able to do a stop bar, correct?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up, Harold.
Are you able to do a stop bar at
Yep.
an intersection? Okay.
I already have the,
I went through 4 stop signs in Sutherland the other day.
yeah, those are brand new.
Yep.
Oh,
We actually put them up and sat back and we're watching cars run them right after we put them
So
up.
next day when I biked through there, I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to stop. I didn't stop yesterday at all.
Hey, Ron, are there,
Yes, sir.
as far as doing the striping, is there a consideration at work here as far as the temperature?
Yeah, that's definitely a
I mean,
consideration.
how much time do we have left?
We are running out of time rapidly. So I still have to purchase the striper, which I need to get on the state contract list and see what kind of deal we can get.
so Ron, earlier you showed us the emergency evacuation signs. And I don't know if everyone was on the call then. If you can put that back up again, I think it looks great.
Can you all see the whole thing, or do I need to scroll
No,
it?
you'll have to scroll it up and down.
Okay, starting at the top. Like I said, I don't know what you guys can see on your screen, so. But basically, I put that in the middle. I figured it was the best spot to put it.
And then you'll have another one for the Green Trail, I
Green
guess.
Trail, correct.
So have those been ordered, or is this?
No, I wanted to show them to you all before I order them. I'm going to do a signed order tomorrow.
Yep. And you're just going to put them back to back on one side of the correct? And that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Say that again.
Although I'm kind of wondering if uphill a little bit and facing down might not be a better ideal, because that way it would cover the creek too. If there were paddlers on the creek, they'd actually be able to see it.
Okay. Or should we order one for the creek specifically and put it down or much more down by the water?
I'm not sure it'll hold, Harold.
Okay.
We've lost quite a bit of stuff from right on the water's edge. We can try it. I mean, they'll be, I'm going to rough estimate about $30 a piece. So.
Okay. Ron, do you think by ordering more than one at a time?
No, not unless we order a lot.
Initially?
Not unless we order a lot.
Okay. Okay. Can you see what it looks, i.e. like kind of what Harold's talking about when you're talking about like viewing from the trail, like get one made, hold it up and be like, okay, we only see it from X distance, you know, and then kind of determine where you want to put it from there, or if the creek even.
Yeah.
How big are they?
Well, I'm eager to get those up so that if we have someone like me that breaks their ankle, I know I could have called and I didn't, but yeah. I think that'll be a real enhancement to the safety of our users.
So far, every time we've made a call to the parks, it's been on the orange trail, except for one, which is right at the entrance of the blue trail. So that was fine.
Really?
Oh,
Our dually pickup truck does not fit back there now with those ties.
Oh.
Yeah, it's our
where
truck
we
is
put
wide.
the gravel. Oh.
Our truck is too wide. So that's the only problem. We don't have a vehicle small enough now to get back there.
speaking of the fire department, could you ask the guys when they cut the lock, which is not a big deal, those aren't expensive locks, to either cut the lock or cut the chain, not both?
Of course, I was not on any of those runs they've made. And I tried. I saw him going by, and I was texting the captain real quick, the number that I was texting the sergeant, and then it called me 20 minutes later, like, oh, we didn't get you. I'm like, I tried calling you. I tried texting you. Whatever.
Hey, would a key box be a good idea, Bucker? We could switch to a keyed lock and just put a key box on the building. Would that be better for you guys?
Yeah, or even right there on the fence post on the end,
That's an idea.
because they see it. Yeah, and I'll make a label and I'll make a sign that so they know.
All right, we'll check into that and see what that would cost.
Okay, they have really nice ones at Lowe's for $30 that are
Okay.
all got a case
We'll
around
need
it.
something. We'll have to find something secure because you know people are going to mess with it. So,
Yep, sounds good.
all right.
Well, that does sound good. So
Harold,
the only-
you need to give Ron a call. I left you a voicemail about it,
About Ron?
about calling Ron.
Oh, okay.
It explains why.
Okay. I'll have to check it out.
Actually, if you
Acting up lately.
can hang around a second after the meeting, it won't take but a second. I just got something I got to ask you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the only thing I have left on the agenda today is setting our next meeting. And I'm wondering about Thursday, November 12th. I know the city hall's closed for Veterans Day on Wednesday. I don't know if that makes it better, harder, or easier for Ron.
Doesn't matter one way or another.
Would that work for everyone at 2:00 on the 12th?
I'm good.
Works for me.
I'm
Okay.
good.
All right.
Good for me.
That sounds
All
good.
right. I've got it
Okay.
logged in.
Okay. If anyone have anything else they want to say before we sign off?
Good.
I just want to thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
You just do a great job. Lynn, you do a wonderful job with the scouts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we can recognize. You think maybe we'll have one scout available on Monday?
The semester's over with. A lot of the schools are ending early. We might be able to do something similar. So we'll have to see. They've got very full schedules right now, so we'll see.
Whenever they can show up, I'll be very honored to recognize them.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all. Feel free to contact me with any suggestions or complaints.
Thank you, Linda, for all you do.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Linda.
Very much so.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Everybody take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Harold, hang on just a second. I'm going to kill the stream. There we go.
I just checked.